Okay, guys, thanks for covering the Canes, and just finished our first practice of Florida State week, and excited about our energy and our focus, and I get a chance to watch the film here in a minute, but we got a lot of things done, and obviously got a lot of work to do between now and Friday to play the type of game we want to play. So a lot of respect for Florida State and type of environment we're going into and the challenge that it presents, and just preparing our guys accordingly. So we'll just go right to questions and get this show on the road here.
Al, you guys haven't beaten Florida State since you've been here.
Yep.
What would the win against them mean?
It'd be big, you know. I thought, you know, we played with a lot of confidence last year. We didn't finish. We left a lot of plays out there. I don't think you can carry anything forward but the experience. So I think our guys that played in that game a year ago have to lead now. We have to learn a lot from what we did well and what we didn't do well, and that's going to be critical. That we have that experience, that we share that experience with the guys that haven't been in the game, and really just keep our focus on the game and not you know, everything that surrounds it.
You talked in January, you know, about not letting Florida State, you know, not letting that game affect you before,
yeah,
not letting it affect you afterward. Obviously, that's been a focus. How have you gotten a sense that this team is ready to do that?
Yeah, again, for us, Matt, I keep saying it, you know, just trying to develop it's a big game, right? You know, like, we can act like it's not a big game. I mean, we get that. And I think for our guys, we just got to learn how to be consistent and prepare. And so from that standpoint, I just want to see them approach everything consistently. I want to see our staff approach everything consistently. They'll be fired up, and we know Florida State will be fired up. It is what it is, you know. And but I want our guys to embrace the challenge and embrace the opportunity and all the you know, the atmosphere and everything, and play our game. That's what I'm looking for. But in terms of anything else, we're not really talking about everything else, but, you know, trying to have a great Tuesday practice.
Hey, Al, you've seen glimmers of things to be optimistic about in every phase of the game throughout, you know, this season, but it hasn't been able to all come together. There's always something somewhere that's keeping you from winning games. How do you fight the frustration of that, and how do you change that?
Well, I think, and I appreciate the question, yeah, I think from our standpoint, you know, the glimmers are what keep you motivated. And I think from our standpoint, you know, the first key to winning consistently is eliminate the things that cause you to lose. And on a serious note, we have seen pockets, you know, but as you know, pockets aren't good enough. And pockets, if you're not consistent, you know, will lead, you know, to the kind of issues that we had the other night. And you can't play this game in spurts. And I think that's what we're trying to create, is a consistent team. So there's been times on defense where, again, you know, for however many minutes, 21 minutes, you know, they had 5 yards the other night. And then we let up a big play. You know, that's not being a consistent defense, and that's not doing it constantly at a high level. And the same thing on the offense, same thing on special teams. You know, we let up a big return the other night, Gary, and the next 3 or 4 punts, the net is unbelievable. You know, so from that standpoint, I'm not going to let it get frustrated. I don't think the players are letting it get frustrated. I think the challenge is to do it consistently, and as Matt said, that's kind of been our message from the get-go. So if we stay with it, we have a chance to become that. If we get frustrated, it will never be what we want to be.
So, like, you know, like offensively, you know, you can see the problems that are down.
Sure.
So,
yep.
But, you know, defensively, you come out, they get 300 yards in the first half, and then, like you said, 5 yards.
Yep.
In the third quarter. Like, when you're watching film, like, where's the explanation for that?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to explain it. It's my responsibility at the end of the day, and we just have to be a consistent team, and we have to consistently play at a high standard and a high level, irrespective of who's in the game, or if we have an injury or someone else is in the game, or whatever the case may be. Whoever goes in has got to play at a high level, and we have to execute at a high level. And there's no excuse, Gary. We didn't do it the other night. Simple as that.
Al, sorry. You talked about changes that are not after the loss. I mean, have you instituted those changes? What can we expect to see?
I think from a personnel standpoint, there's some things that we really coaches don't like to give out if there's any personnel changes, but there are some personnel changes that we had to make. Whether that's a 2 becoming a 1 or 2 playing more or whatever the case may be, or switching a position, we've done that. And we met as a staff on Friday, met with the kids on Friday, and a lot of that was implemented by the time we left Friday night in terms of how we wanted to proceed. And to be perfectly frank with you, I'm not going to share with you now certain things that we did, but some of what happened the other night necessitated it. And if we want to be consistent, some of it required action in terms of personnel, and certainly everything that we do, we start with conceptually what are we doing, and we looked at some of that. So there's going to be subtle changes for sure in both personnel and in play calling.
Al, you touched on this yesterday with Joe Rose. Just what's the mentality of this team been like since Thursday? I know some of the guys said they couldn't wait to get back in the lab and get back to work.
I think that's the prevailing, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's the prevailing attitude. And I think there's nothing easy about it, and it's frustrating, and it's everything. It's frustrating, it's disheartening, it makes you angry by what we gave away. And again, I don't want to take anything away from our opponent, because our opponent played well. But what we gave away in that game is frustrating, and you can let it eat at you. I think, but the one thing that has has really been the persona of this team is accountability, and taking accountability for what transpired, addressing it, communicating, and then moving forward. And they allowed us to move forward today because of that, and really get focused on Florida State. So we got a long way to go in the week, but good start today.
Andrew. Coach, you have about 70 kids on the roster that grew up in Florida. Some of them are even playing football because they saw the Miami-Florida State game back when they were kids. Yet when we talk to all these guys, to a man, they're just another game, we're staying focused. How do you balance keeping them focused and professional versus the passion that you want to see for the quick start?
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, the only thing we can do today and tomorrow and Thursday is exactly what they're saying, and that's worry about us, prepare, do the things that we need to do. Now, as the mental part of the game goes high and the physical goes low, as we enter game day, I expect them to play with a lot of energy and a lot of passion. I think to start that today is really hard to maintain for 5 or 6 days. So they have a good focus. They know that in that environment, if they don't develop the habits today, the poise today, execute the way they need to do, trust each other, and really demonstrate that they can play at a high level, it's going to be hard to say, hey, we're going to do it on Saturday if we don't do that. So I think it's a combination, but clearly we want to add the mental aspect to the emotional aspect on game day.
Al, Everett Golson, you've gone against him before. I know it wasn't a great memory. How he was younger, obviously. How has he changed? Can you talk about him a little bit?
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a lot of respect for him. Yeah, he's doing a great job in this system. He's learned it incredibly fast, and he's protecting the football. And he's a winning quarterback. He's winning for them, and he's doing exactly what they need to do. And whether that's from coach, the play calls, or whether that's him managing the game, he's putting him in position to win the game, and that's what's number one job of the quarterback.
The other thing is Dalvin Cook. With him in the game, what type of runner is he? If he does play, and if he doesn't, what does that mean?
All the running backs, we don't suspect Mario is going to play, but all the running backs are big physical guys, and they all have something else with them that's unique. And obviously Dalvin's is his ability to cut back and his breakaway speed. In addition to that, so we got to do a good job of tackling all those guys, irrespective of which one's in the game.
And I just had one injury question.
Jermaine.
Yes, it is. No, Jermaine Grace. Al, did he? He wasn't out there when we were out there. Jermaine, is he playing in the game?
I don't know. This is the Susan Miller show with guests. Oh my goodness. Anyway, on a serious note, Jermaine is. he was much better today than we thought he would be. So do we have more hope today than we did yesterday? Yeah, I think it's a great question, and I think he went through a regimen today way ahead of where we thought he would be. So there's a really good possibility that he can practice tomorrow, and so we'll see. But I did not feel that way on Monday morning, and did not feel that way when we had the call on Friday. So he's got a chance.
While we're injuries,
Yeah.
Braxton and Stacey.
The best they'll both be ready to go. Brax was the best that he's been, and Stacey was good today. It was good.
For last game, did you see Braxton? Was he?
Not there yet, you know. And part of that was, you know, he practiced twice for that game and then went out and played after being off for 3 weeks. So I think I just can see it in his eyes today. He feels better. He looks better, and those two guys can help us.
Al, I just wanted to ask you about Joe and just kind of his journey this season. Obviously, we've touched on how he was away during the offseason a little bit, came back, but the maturity that kid has shown, and just the responsibility he's taken on since Gus got hurt.
I love Joe Yerby, you know, he doesn't say much, hard worker, grateful, loves the University of Miami, had a lot of adversity, went through a lot, and you know, attacked it head on, didn't make excuses, wasn't with us for a while. I don't know exactly how long, maybe a month and a half, maybe more. And came back in incredible condition and stronger. So he found a way to do the things he needed to do, and I think that said a lot about his character and the type of person he is. And I'm happy that he's having the type of year that he's having. You know, he's added some tools to his trade, you know, in terms of being a little bit stronger and spinning on contact and doing those types of things. And I'm excited about the opportunity to go to battle with Joe this weekend.
Al, offensive line consistency obviously is an issue for you.
Yeah.
Penalties, breakdowns during games. There's some times when, you know, one or two guys are getting physically overpowered and getting blown into the backfield. And, you know, one of the guys, I guess, going into the season that you probably would have thought, at least from the outside looking in, might have helped there a little bit was Casey McDermott. Yeah. And I noticed he didn't even play it down last week. What's going on with Casey?
Well, I think he had a good day today, and Gary, I think he's ready to help us this weekend. We'll see Casey a lot more in a rotation. Joe Brown as well. Those two guys will play more, just to keep the rep counts a little bit more equal. And again, we have to get rid of that inconsistency. You know, you're going to get beat. Obviously, we don't want to get overpowered, and we don't want to get overpowered in short yard situations, but you're going to get beat once in a while, and if you get beat, that's fine. You know, in terms of, you know, come back the next play and compete, because those guys are constantly battling up front. And you do take some losses along the way. What we can't have is the unforced errors. That's what's killing us right now, and whether it's a chance to be 1st and 10, you know, to start the game 1st and 10 on the 10-yard line or on the 8-yard line. Instead, you're, you know, 1st and 20 on the 33. I mean, right off the bat, the next time we're down there, we have an offsides, we're 1st and 15. And neither one of them we dug out of. So you're exactly right. Both Joe and Casey can help us. They need to help us. They need to step up. And it's going to help us stay fresher, play more guys there, and hopefully be more effective than we were the other night. We're protecting Brad probably better overall than we were a year ago, but Brad's getting rid of the ball better, and we can't be lulled to sleep, just like you said. We can't be lulled to sleep by the fact that he's getting rid of it, and we're not getting a lot of sacks. We're not giving up a lot of sacks as the answer. We got to make sure we do a better job protecting and not letting him get hit.
As a follow-up, is he getting rid of it too fast at times? You know, especially like maybe sometimes on 3rd down. There were a couple plays the other day where very quickly the ball was just running out of bounds and stuff.
Yeah, it just.
You're watching the other side, you know, that kid's extending plays and hitting you over the top of the touchdown and stuff like. Is that something that maybe where he could improve a little?
Yeah, well, I mean, we all can improve. I don't think there's any question about it. I think, you know, but every scenario is different. So I don't want to just judge the whole 3rd down performance and say he needs to keep it alive or create. And sometimes if somebody's a little bit shorter, they give us a different coverage or whatever the case may be. But I think certainly we all need to improve on offense in that category for sure.
Coach, sorry, I have to digress for a moment.
Sure.
Coaching is such a small fraternity. Over at Dolphins camp, they just named a very young, fiery interim head coach. Do you know Dan Campbell? Have you had any interactions with him?
I don't. I've seen Dan before, but I don't know him personally, and just wish him the best of luck. But no, I don't know him. It's a great opportunity for him.
It was worth a shot, sorry. It was worth a shot, sorry.
Okay.
Coach, obviously the two teams involved here recruit a lot of the same players in the state of Florida, and I know it's not what you're thinking about going into game week, but if you could comment just on the impact on recruiting that this game has.
I think it's important. It's all important. The plan that you have for each kid, what you're offering them, the type of young man that you're recruiting, his values meet your values, and then ultimately what's happening on the field. So yeah, it is important. It's important for us in a lot of different respects, but none of that matters if we don't prepare and just keep our eyes focused on what we got to do every day, and that will take care of itself if we play well. And that's what we got to do. We got to execute, play well, play with poise. Need the leaders to lead, and do the things that we need to do in that game to be successful. Okay, guys, have a great day.